All right, so we just talked about what channels and aggregators are. Now I want to give you some examples of these relationships working so that you can have a few ideas in your head, specific ideas of how you might be able to execute these types of relationships for your business, okay? Because there's not just one way of going about it. There's a number of different ways. And depending on who you're selling to and what exactly you're selling, you're going to want to get creative in figuring out what's exactly the right way to do this for your business. So first, let me just share with you Kutenda, right? My business. These are a couple of the early sales team that we had here at the company, and this is one of the very first trade show booths that we put together there, that picture. We were at one of the big events that draws somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 of our exact target audience for about 3 days. And that gave our team 3 days of undivided attention where they could really just focus on those prospects and have conversations with them in person, introduce what we were doing, get feedback. In the very early stages of a business, this is hugely valuable. We did trade shows like crazy for the first year that we were in business. They're expensive, that's for sure. But at the same time, if you look at them relative to the cost of other forms of marketing and the fact that you are getting those people in the room with you, your exact targeted audience, and that you're getting to have one-on-one conversations with people, it's actually not expensive, okay? It's, it costs money up front, but the ROI is really, really big. So I would absolutely recommend that people make trade shows a part of their strategy, especially at the very beginning. Down below, you actually see a title there, Kutenda integrates MSP marketing platform with PSA software. This was in the major press website in the industry that we were going after. Everybody in this industry reads this website daily, and we were able to get coverage from the editor of that site, from the reporters on that site, so that our brand name was now being mentioned to all of its readers. That gave us a huge boost in visibility and traffic. Finally, the other thing that we did, and it's kind of hard to show you here, but we tapped into relationships with major software vendors in this field. There are a few major software vendors in this field that are spending ungodly amounts of money to grow their businesses in this space and aggregate lists of customers. So what we would do is we would go to them and we would say, hey, we can run webinars through your name, to your list that will help your customers grow faster. Would that be interesting to you? Well, of course it was interesting to them because that's how they sell more software. Is if their customers grow faster, they sell more licenses. So we went to them and solved the problem for them. We said, hey, we can help your people grow faster by giving them a good educational webinar. That then, of course, positioned our services as something that that audience would be interested in. By doing so, we were able to get reach, just huge reach, really, really quickly because they had lists of thousands of our target market and would send out email blasts inviting them to a webinar with us. So these are all strategies that have worked really, really well at Kutenda. And for most of you, you can find a way to work in your business as well. Next is Local Income Lab. So Local Income Lab is where we do, our training in the local market, right? And when we decided that we wanted to do training, that we felt like, hey, we have something that we can share that would be valuable for this marketplace, we said, all right, well, same thing. How do we tap into a lot of these people quickly? Because we can't, go and just sell to one, two person at a time. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, the answer in this case was affiliates, right? Affiliates are essentially people that already have lists of the buyers that we're going after that are willing to promote our products in exchange for, some sort of fee, for revenue, right? It's a very common thing in the internet marketing world. So we were able to tap into those affiliates and go from 0 to over 2,000 customers in 60 days, right? Just because we were leveraging other people's lists. And many of you, of course, are familiar with the Warrior Forum. By putting products into the Warrior Forum is just a website that has already aggregated a big target audience. So again, that's an example of how you use aggregators to very quickly tap into a bigger audience. Next, I know you've all heard of Geek Squad. I'm intimately familiar with Geek Squad because I actually almost sold my previous business to Best Buy, who had purchased Geek Squad. So, I was very, very close to having that happen. Well, this is a famous business story, and for years there, Geek Squad was written about in Inc. magazine. It seemed like every day because here it was, this small computer support business that started out in Minnesota, and this guy had built up a few locations, and all of a sudden, Best Buy comes along and says, hey, all of our customers at retail need help with solving their computer problems, and we don't know, who to send them to. Could we send them to you? So, of course, Geek Squad started getting customers from Best Buy, which just blew up their business overnight. And then, Best Buy finally said, hey, this relationship really works. Why don't we just buy you and make you a major brand through all of our stores? It's now a multi-billion-dollar a year business and something that's been very successful for them. So all that was this tiny little mom-and-pop business that got one massive relationship, one massive aggregator to, start promoting their services, and it just blew up. It's a really neat story, and it shows the potential of these types of relationships. Now, on a smaller scale, but the same type of thing is mall kiosks, right? Malls and the major retailers in those malls spend a lot of money on marketing to attract foot traffic into those malls. Well, not everybody can afford a big mall space. Not everybody can afford to run commercials and print ads like those major retailers can, right? So you see in the malls all the time these little kiosks, right in the middle of the hallways there, where they are essentially just leveraging this huge aggregator, which is this massive mall that is bringing in all this foot traffic every day. So if you were testing a retail concept, would you test it by going out and getting a whole store? And committing to a big lease, or would you set up a little kiosk and start selling products through that and seeing if your concept is going to work? Obviously, if you could, you'd use a kiosk situation. So this is a great example of leveraging somebody who's already aggregated all of that foot traffic. So these are a number of examples here that I hope help just kind of spur some ideas in your brain. There's a lot of different ways that you can tap into these aggregators and these channels. And we're going to start transitioning now into giving you specific strategies that work for us and how to pull them off. But, there are things that we have not done that may be appropriate for your business. So, put that thinking cap on and use your creativity to think through, okay, how are other businesses doing this? And as you look around, you'll become really aware of other businesses doing this very successfully. It's happening all over the place every day. So keep an eye out for those different types of ideas and think about how you might be able to incorporate them into your business.